We would like to start the regular press conference by Foreign Minister Motegi. First of all, about the situation concerning the Japanese nationals' departure and return to Japan, very briefly. So far, those people who have already returned to Japan, it's about 9,400 Japanese people. Those people who continue to wish to come back to Japan from about 30 countries, approximately 340 people. Even when they come back to Japan, those who are actually stationed overseas, they want to go and come back to Japan. That's why the number is like this. Of that 340, about 210 persons to depart and return to Japan within 2 days. That's all from me.
The floor is open for questions. Please raise your hand and proceed to the microphone if you have a question. Please identify yourself and affiliation. This is Oyabu of Yomiuri Shimbun. Now, the business people movement between China and Korea. Now, for those with the people without COVID-19, those business people allowed and to enter. Is this kind of framework is going to be applied and when it comes to the relation between China and Korea? Now, what is going to be your opinion about the movement of business people with those countries? Now, in order to resume the movement of the people, I think it is important to see the spread of COVID-19 calm down. At the same time, we have to closely monitor the situation overseas. So depending on the country, there is going to be a second stage of a spread. Therefore, if we have to identify and prove that whether it is safe for the travels, and comprehensively the situation has to be reviewed and what kind of approach should be most appropriate, and that should be considered. Now, whether we can call it the first track or not, in case if there is going to be relaxation of movement and immigration, the step should be gradual. There should be a step-by-step approach to be taken, and that is my view. In the first stage, I think essential people, in the case of movement of people, those people who are essential for business interactions, or professionals, and those professionals who are required and to come over for interactions. So those are essential people in terms of the category are supposed to be the ones who are going to be prioritized. But turning into tourists in general, I think they will come later in the stage. How the groups are going to be categorized, it depends on the situation, but the concept-wise, step-by-step approach is going to be adopted. We should not make it too complicated, but step-by-step approaches should be adopted. Now, speaking of specific countries, whether it is going to be singled out or not, of course we're going to look at each country, but a group of countries, for example, like a group of 10 countries should come first, and then comes the next second group. So that would be another approach we're going to adopt. And for example, I think yesterday, in the case of Hungary, for example, in Hungary, they already accept the business people. So they decided yesterday that they were going to accept Japanese business people. So going forward, if desirable, I hope that Japanese responses are going to be taken simultaneously together with other countries' actions. The timing should not be too far apart.
Next question, please. Sato-san. Asahi newspaper, my name is Sato. About the WHO assembly, I have a question about that. Minister, in the Foreign Minister Commission in the lower house, about the situation, it's becoming difficult for Taiwan to participate. To be honest, you mentioned that there is this issue of China. What's your sense of issue that you felt on that matter? As I said already, about infectious diseases in the responding to the infectious disease and the international health, there should not be any geographical vacuum. That's our position. And we have been consistent in asserting that point at WHO. From that perspective, we have consistently been supporting Taiwan's participation in WHO Assembly as an observer. That's the important thing. Why it's not happening? I think there are several reasons. And for instance, I said that.
Next question. Harakawa-san. This is Harakawa of Sankei Shimbun. This is a frequently asked question. That is about Avigan, the supply of Avigan. Would you please give us the latest update? Avigan, yes. Speaking of Avigan, the number itself has not been changed greatly. About 80 countries used the diplomatic route for the supply of Avigan. 3 countries so far, Estonia, the Netherlands, and Kazakhstan. On top of those 3 countries, well, those 3 countries had already been supplied with the Avigan, and yesterday to Indonesia as well. And in total, already 45 countries have already been in this process of coordination of the supply. So those countries, namely 4 countries, including Indonesia, and the countries that are under coordination, the number is 45 countries. With regard to the supply of Avigan, there is a strong interest shown by every country. In addition to Estonia, yesterday, there was a telephone conference with the foreign minister of Hungary, and the day before with the Thai foreign minister. And I conveyed our intention to supply Avigan. And in return, they expressed gratitude to me.
Next question, please. Ono-san. Kyodo Tsushin, Onozuka. In today's foreign minister about the COVID-19, what's the source and was there any functioning of the WHO? I think you mentioned that it's very important that the organization has independence. That what are the reasons that you think it's necessary? And when there is a framework, should China and Japan participate? What's the kind of image that you have about the framework of WHO? I think I mentioned 3 things. First, this is infectious disease that has a huge impact in the globally, centering on WHO. International community should be making concerted efforts. At the moment, we are in that situation. And in addition to that, to be prepared for similar situation in the future about the function of WHO and about the initial reaction, what are the possible issues that we saw? Once this COVID-19 gets under control, there should be sufficient validation. And as a result of that validation, with the results of such validation, each country, the international community, should be able to feel comfortable about this. And then to that end, the fair, independent, comprehensive validation must be conducted. That's important. In what way that impartiality, independence can be supported or ensured? That's something that relevant countries need to discuss.
Any other questions? This is Kimura of NHK. Now, I would like to ask another question about Taiwan's participation in WHO. I think the date is supposed to be the 18th, so we still have time. And are you going to have any activities to lobby to work this out? Now, I'm asking a question about Taiwan's participation as an observer in WHA. I think the Japanese position has already been expressed, but there is still time until the date of 18th. And so are you going to take additional actions in this regard? I think it is supposed to be held on Monday next week. So efforts are ongoing, not only Taiwan, but also the United States. We are collaborating with them so that we will be able to do something that we are doing our best.
Any other questions? No more questions? If not, we would like to conclude the press conference. Thank you.